Hello everyone and welcome back to the LCS playoffs for Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses, the number 1 and 2 seeds facing off in the winner bracket final. Whoever wins the best of 5 is going to the LCS 2020 Spring Finals, and Cloud9, the number 1 seed, more or less took care of business, slightly slower than normal, but as dominant as their other games have been.
Yeah, I think the fact that they were 17-1 in the regular season and 3-0 to their first set in playoffs was an indicator of what was going to happen against EG, and there were no surprises. The one thing that surprised me was actually the poor play of Svenskeren in that game, the defending MVP, also the former jungler of Cloud9, who has been replaced by Blaber now. He needs to step up in order for EG to have a stronger chance in this series.
Well, we'll see if it can happen. Certainly has been a strong performer, even throughout playoffs, had first blood in half games, and, has been good, but obviously C9 a league above, but we'll see if EG can step up. We go into the next phase of bans here, and it is EG getting rid of Gragas. They're kind of afraid of that red side jungle pickup there. Syndra off early, Varus off early, and with the Aphelios ban coming through, it means EG get to grab Kalista for a lot of priority down in the bot lane, because I don't think Kumo's playing it.
Yeah, so the way the side selection works in playoffs, for those of you who don't know, is C9 gets side selection in the first game, and then side selection in future games is determined by whoever lost the last one. So EG had side selection and they got to choose blue, and already we see a vastly different draft, mainly because the bans changed so much. Kalista was banned, LeBlanc was banned, and Olaf were all banned in game one. Those are all available champions for this one. The Kalista very early on was picked. And I'm not sure if we're going to see an early rotation LeBlanc, knowing that it's been banned in 70% of games against EG.
Well, they get one last chance to grab it before the second phase of bans. Cloud9 knowing they get counterpick on it if they want, without any other mid laners dropped off the table. Aatrox versus Ornn will be the matchup, just reversed around. It's Kumo's time to play Aatrox. Last time, Licorice went plus 20 CS without jungle intervention. So that's the bar we're going to measure Kumo to, and we're pretty sure he's not going to hit it. Last chance for EG to grab a champion. They know they can grab Pantheon for jungle. They're going to indeed do that, and we now get to see what Cloud9 answer. They know top lane's been answered, bot lane's been answered, that we haven't seen Ezreal mid. Tahm Kench goes into support as the Pantheon gets locked in. So with that locked in, we know the C9 bot lane, we know their top side, they're going to flex their mid and jungle for later. Now, for those of you watching on ESPN, you're heading to a quick commercial break. YouTube and Twitch, stick around.
And I also think with the picks locked in by C9 so far, that's a very passive first 3 picks from Cloud9 and definitely gives EG some opportunity to play aggressive very early on. I like the Taric ban because the Kalista Taric is the most common lane. The other lethal lane I see with Kalista is Kalista Set, so neither of those are going to be available for EG. When I was kind of charting how maybe EG would be able to beat C9, it would be if they can get through the early game with even gold, maybe the shot calling experience of Svenskeren and Zeyzal, as well as the split push of Jiizuke, would be able to find them victory. What's happening in this draft is they're just picking early game champions. So it's more likely to actually get them to that stage with even gold, but then they're really going to have to turn it on afterwards because their picks are going to start falling off as the game gets later.
Yeah, unless you can find some way to just sit the front lines together and have no one hit backline. Yeah, Kalista in the ideal situation gets to throw autos forever and probably out DPS Ezreal. That's not realistic in any given case. So yeah, tend to agree. Scale looks pretty good on the Cloud9 side. Ornn, obviously everyone knows how good that can be, but hey, maybe Kumo pops off and, Nisqy doesn't get to play League of Legends in every single team fight, and then it looks different around. We'll see, though, as time ticks down. Yep, the LeBlanc banned away, as we mentioned. The Taric that we so often see with the Kalista. And it's interesting with the EG getting rid of the teamfight mage and the Cassiopeia. It's trying to get rid of some of the other scaling options to Cloud9, or at least some of the counter picks to someone like Ryze.
Yeah, I mean, with Ornn, Ezreal, Tahm locked in, it's like all of Cloud9's aggression needs to come from this jungle mid combo. If they do Nocturne again, I mean, Blaber has challenged my assumptions of Nocturne not being an effective early game pick because he's been able to farm at a fast pace and effectively counter jungle very well and always hit 6 first, so that's what they're going for here. But, I mean, I'm just thinking, if EG does something like Pantheon Talia with mid jungle, that seems like a pretty devastating 2v2 for almost anything Nisqy plays mid here, except the Zoe. I'm talking a lot here. Nisqy's just going to play Zoe, right? He's played it 8 times, 7-1 on it, but is totally dominant in the first playoff series.
They're moving Pantheon to mid. With that Trundle lock in, unless you're playing Pantheon support, which, I mean, I guess you could see, but I don't think is likely.
They could do Trundle support even.
Okay, you know, that's fair as well, I suppose. I think Trundle would actually be reasonable into Tahm Kench, and that's actually what it is, because I thought Ryze was coming through with the Cassiopeia ban for sure, and it is Ryze to the mid lane. So, yeah, I think you're more right that it's Trundle support as their answer to Tahm Kench. Siphon the stats off of Ornn, have a front line, you know, pillar disengage the aggressive tools. They are getting the Ryze. Jiizuke is very good on the champion, and it means that you've got an answer that champ with the Cassiopeia ban.
Either way, whether it's going to be the Pantheon or the Trundle bottom lane, it's going to be interesting, and that'll dictate where they're going to be playing through. Pantheon support against Tahm Kench feels like not worth trying, so yeah, Trundle would be more likely. And let's see if they can get some kills in. The spell shield is going to be really crucial for Blaber against Pantheon in some of these early trades, because if you actually spell shield the Pantheon W, there's a it would stop the stun, but then Pantheon's still going to be able to E through a lot of your lethal tempo damage. So that's a skill matchup in terms of how Nocturne can get behind and how much of the lethal tempo timing can Svenskeren block off. I'm excited to see it.
It's going to be really exciting, absolutely, as we're getting ourselves into Game 2 shortly. We've got an all-new draft, and it's a lot of early game pressure, with one nice little piece, which is, I think, the Ryze scales pretty well. I think Jiizuke can try to carry the late-game team fights, and they've got Trundle in support to siphon off of the tank stats. There's a little bit of extra texture in those last 2 picks that makes me a little more optimistic about the EG late game. But yeah, their early game is wicked strong. You've got a Kalista in there for early laning phase. At 6, you can throw the Trundle in, which is, I would argue, one of his sort of weaknesses as a frontliner is he just kind of has to walk at you, and that's not often very elegant. This time around, though, it's going to look a lot nicer. So, into Game 2 we go on Summoner's Rift. Evil Geniuses are, you know, slowly running out of chances to turn this series around. Cloud9, a 1-0 start in the best of 5.
And I'll also say that Zeyzal has been putting in more time than most on some of the more unconventional support picks, just because they were earlier on the low CS Senna kind of tank for support playstyle, so they're actually able to get it in some of their drafts before it became permaban. So Kalista is somewhat similar to, say, Senna in that it can unlock different support picks to work. The early laning phase, like Trundle versus Tahm Kench, Trundle's an okay stat checker, so I don't necessarily think that that's immediately going to get pushed in. And then at level 6+, the Trundle can get really tanky by ulting Ornn or the Tahm Kench, so that pick might be very good. And then the other bit of texture, thinking about how the draft played out, is Zoe is Nisqy's most played by far. EG's coaches know this, but they decided to ban Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is, generally speaking, a better lane matchup into Ryze than most, so I'm thinking that EG actually wanted this Ryze into Zoe matchup, and it's going to be a little bit of a skill check whether or not Jiizuke or Nisqy can win it.
All right, well, we go to the early jungle pathing, and though there is an offensive trinket ward from Licorice sitting around near the red buff, it's going to be a quick invade to get Svenskeren to do a lot of what happened to him in the previous game, where Blaber invaded the very early on, trying to take away a camp. Svenskeren is going to take away these raptors without much issue, and based on the positioning of these wards, won't even be seen taking the red buff initially, especially if he never goes into the brush. And some of this, it's okay, now he's spotted, but some of this often is researching your opponents. What are their habits? Where do their wards go? How do they defend their side of the jungle? I actually would have liked to see Sven find a way to clear that camp without ever going upwards and never showing on that ward.
Yeah, I think, though, he doesn't necessarily know if it's warded, and is hoping to make sure he's getting away from Nocturne, because Nocturne could be doing a blue straight to red path or blue Grom straight to red, and he wants to be able to sure that smite still doesn't happen, just like as a little bit of security. But because he stepped on that ward, it's just going to be totally fine for Blaber. Like, he's a faster jungle clearer than Svenskeren, and Licorice might actually find himself a tasty treat here in the jungle.
He's going to find someone to attack. I'm not sure he's going to get to steal much of this, but he is going to try to spend the time to force Svenskeren off the wave. Now, this should potentially mean Licorice lose a little bit of farm, and Zoe, flash for the bubble. Nice flash for Svenskeren to get away. Should not be an easy follow-through. Does have a Spell Thief flash, but that's not crowd control. Kumo gets to make him, you know, hide back. But I do want to point out that because the wave was pushing away from Licorice, his minions were denying basically minion XP. Licorice is definitively down in experience because he went to stop the Krugs.
Yeah, but also, Svenskeren is definitively down in experience. He's at 3 camps to 5 from Blaber right now. And Blaber can easily take the Scuttle Crab in the bottom river to keep roughly a 2-camp advantage. So, again, Blaber with an early farm advantage on the Nocturne, but it's whether or not Svenskeren can make something work. He's now flashless ganking a Zoe.
Jiizuke, yeah. But it's a flashless Zoe, right? And Jiizuke, theoretically, if he had cooldowns, could have gone for the flash-powered Rune Prison, and then, you know, maybe the Pantheon follow-up is there. That's obviously a very aggressive line of play, and Blaber was nearby. Okay, the camp's back up. Svenskeren does not have a way out. He does not have a way out. He's gonna be sphered. He's gonna put up the shield. He's gonna stay alive, but there is all the damage in 2 games in a row. Nisqy and Blaber combined for first blood.
Big mistake. Really big mistake from Svenskeren, trying to deny the Nocturne a level 6 path when his entire blue side is up. Svenskeren can easily just farm safely as a flashless Pantheon who will lose in these 2v2s against the Nocturne Zoe at this point because he's underleveled. So just a really big early game mistake there by Svenskeren, kind of supercharging Blaber and Nisqy in the late game. They just walk up, they see him, he doesn't have health, Jiizuke has no mana, so there's no way he's going to actually be able to support him, and it's an easy first blood for Nisqy.
Yeah, oftentimes you can go for an invade if your mid has priority. In this case, it did not. Licorice and Kumo to 1v1 with a very large minion wave hitting Kumo. He's going to stab the cannon minion, get a bunch of health back, then kite back as the minion's going to drop aggro on all sides. Now Licorice temporarily actually has the level lead. He's 5 first. Svenskeren coming to the backhand side. Kumo double knockup. Going to look for number 3. Nice flash. Oh, Licorice takes him down. Svenskeren can certainly try to damage his old teammate, but it's not going to be enough. Licorice says, this is why you're on the Academy team.
And Licorice has been stepping up throughout this playoff. He destroyed Someday in the first round series, and now Aatrox versus Ornn smashed as the Aatrox. Ornn versus Aatrox gets a solo kill while Svenskeren is there trying to gank him, and that's after he gave up early experience to push Svenskeren out of his jungle. Definitely a desperation attempt by EG to try and make that happen, and it just goes from bad to worse. They're thinking about a dive. If Nisqy can move up here, they can kill him again. It's a flashless Aatrox, it's an ult on Ornn.
Okay.
Pantheon can't be there because he's too low level. They might go for this.
In. 3v1. Who's going to pull aggro? Licorice sounds the horn, finds the knockup. Blaber's going to be there for the fear as well. There is no chance to do literally anything for Kumo. He was powerless, and he's gone again.
Oh dear. Oh dear. This is an accelerated version of game 1 where C9 is really just not looking like they are relenting at all. I mean, Jiizuke teleports up just because he sees a huge wave there that he knows Kumo can't reach, so he's trying to salvage the remnants of that lane. Might actually get something done. Licorice has no flash. Jiizuke has his.
He's gonna burn flash for the play. EQ, one more auto will kill him. No, he gets hit. One more kill. He needs to get the spell. He doesn't have mana. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Blaber's there to stop down Jiizuke with the slimmest of margins.
And there's probably a massive smile on Licorice's face right there. He got away with that one. Jiizuke, it was the mana. I'll have to see if one of his Qs didn't bounce, but this was a whole sequence of plays that we have to go back for. So this was Licorice chunking down Kumo very low before the eventual Pantheon gank, which I actually think comes in about 15 seconds, so we might be in for a little bit of a ride, but you can just see, like, the close trading. Licorice has confidence the whole time. He knows his damage. He's kept just enough mana to have this kill. Lands a Q, just flashing behind the Q2 of the Aatrox, and then it's just this little baby level 3 Pantheon with the blue buff who can't really do anything left to try and finish him off. So, yeah, 2,000 gold by 7 minutes. Just skill difference in top lane.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of unluckiness to make it an absurd lead.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we had an uninterrupted top lane matchup. And Licorice won the Aatrox versus Ornn by about 20 CS, had some turret pressure, got a plate by himself. We get a couple of jungle ganks up there. By the way, most of them are Svenskerens.
Yeah.
And Licorice slaughters the matchup 1-on-1, 1-on-2, and then 3-on-1. And then 1-on-1 again.
Yep. He's off to the races. And Blaber's 6, by the way. So if they land a sleep anywhere, they can go for the gank. They might just continue to dive top lane because he is the flashless player. But if Jiizuke's Ryze pushes up, I would see no hesitation from Blaber to ult and try and kill him.
Yeah, the flashless players, top and mid lane. Merc turrets at least are done, so that is a defensive option for Jiizuke. That can help a little bit. We now have a nice pillar to the bot side. It's going to be decent damage towards Zven. Has to arcane shift backwards as we check in this matchup for the first time around. They've gotten both pretty reasonable recalls. I like early Zerk Greaves on Kalista. Has extra scaling on that champion. Zven going to look for some poke. Not going to find it there. And tier pickaxe obviously can feel pretty comfortable as well for Zven. But I will say this matchup is a lot closer than it was last time around. The Varus, Tahm, Kench got a plate by themselves at about 4 minutes, 20 seconds into the game. They had a lot of pressure down there. This one looks a bit more EG. I would say slightly favored, actually.
Yeah, I mean, EG invested their first pick in Kalista. It's an extremely potent pick in the meta right now, especially for early game lane dominance. And C9 just said nope, they're going to opt out of that. And Ezreal Tahm Kench is about as weak side as you can pick your dual lane. So if you want to go in with the game plan as a jungler and say, I'm not even going to think about bot side, you're allowed to do that with this pick. But here's Nisqy. It's going to be a chunk
Thinking about it now, nice block for Zeyzal. Panther over the top, 3v3. They're going to target Vulcan. He pops the heal. Over the top comes the Nocturne. 4 versus 3. A flash away. A fear on a Svenskeren. Blaber has to jump back as well, but stays alive. Using poke, find another Drowsy. Not sure if they have the damage to kill Panther, but they will certainly try. Big damage comes in. They're going to walk away on this one, though. Still a lot of damage dealt, and this turret is going to be under fire. The first inklings of turret damage comes through. Will they stay for the first plate? Looks like they will, at least for number 1. As now Jiizuke is coming by as well. The nice attempt. Spell Thief Flash, not quite going to land the sleep.
It was a good look by Nisqy to get the initial sleep, but I was surprised that they actually went for this play against Kalista, and now here comes Jiizuke.
They got the root in place. That is going to the kill. Finally, Evil Geniuses are on the board. A great Realm War. Jiizuke brings in the squad and finds himself that first kill. Goes over to Svenskeren. Still not going to be too much more, but still 450 gold earned.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff that EG wants to do more of. They would have loved to have that kill go over to Jiizuke because he needs to be the one to carry the game on this Ryze. And I think it was actually a little bit of an ego play by C9. We talk about the draft, how the Ornn is already smashing, how the Zoe has 2 kills, how the Nocturne can pick on either flashless Ryze or Aatrox. Maybe they're thinking, hey, if we can also shut down the bottom lane, we will completely break their mental and there's no coming back. Because from an actual what's the smart play perspective, Blaber should never go bot when there's 2 flashless soul laners. He does, they don't get the kill, Jiizuke gives one back, and while they still have a lead, I think that was a misstep by C9.
And now Nisqy thankfully does have some escape tools for himself, but he's still being attacked and has to burn the flash pretty much instantly as the roam to the mid lane does a little bit of damage. Nisqy chunked about 1/3 and has to kind of lick his wounds right now. Knows the bot lane as they're going to make their way back over. 1,700 gold difference still, though. Cloud9 with the early lead. Yes, they got the Infernal Drake. That's going to all feel comfortable. But yeah, I really do wonder what just another dive top side would have looked like. You know, crashing that Herald down there, getting first turret at, 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's the way you make your gold graph up and to the right, and now it's stalled at 1.3k. So it's time for the next play. They're looking bot again. This time there is a flashless Kalista, so it's not as bad of a look as it would have been last time to go for something, but they gotta respect. They gotta respect the Ryze and the Pantheon being able to match shortly. They do know that there is a mismatch in ultimate timings because the Svenskeren Pantheon rank 1 ultimate is such a long cooldown, but since Blaber didn't go right away, there's always that chance the gank gets matched. Nisqy, though.
Ooh, Spell Thief to Ignite, gonna look for good damage as well, and Jiizuke has to keep running away. If he burns Flash, Nisqy can chase by stealing it away. Is he gonna go for it? He can certainly pick up the spell, but looks over the wall, doesn't find it. Oh, no, the Flash goes to the other side of the wall, right. Can't pick that one up until you go to the other side of it. Just kidding, no easy Flash follow over the wall, but still gonna steal that one, right? Try to find the angle, try to ult to find the bubble. guessed incorrectly. End of the day, does get away, but has to burn the flash for it. Now
comes
again,
gank
a fight towards the bottom side. Will there be a counter gank? But there's a Pantheon, which is enough. That is certainly going to be Vulcan dropping. And as you mentioned, Jack, Cloud9 started that level of aggression and couldn't follow through on it. Now the attempt in the top side toward Kumo. He's going to be sleeping. He's going to be afraid. He's going to be dropped down. Teleport now comes in for Ryze, but can't get the damage. A 1-for-0 and TV burn for defense, and that Herald will mean top turret falls.
And Jiizuke, you gotta leave, buddy, because that turret's not gonna protect you for long. That's one of those teleports where you're like, yes, please complete this teleport, because we are going to have a 3-1 afterwards. Good night, Jiizuke.
Good night, Jiizuke. I've read that as a bedtime story before, and once again he is down. 0-2-1. Zven gonna be just clearing down to the bottom side as his team's roaming around the map to do other good things, and well, you got a plate down there, you got a couple of kills, but the rest of the EG map is falling apart.
It really is, and you could see that Jiizuke was trying to salvage the top lane. We're going to take a look at this bottom lane play where it is the spot where EG needs to play around. Pantheon Ultimate is an incredible ganking tool, and when you're trying to gank a Tahm Kench plus X lane, you always have to focus the Tahm Kench, but of course once that Panth ult is down, C9 knows this is actually an unstoppable play. So they land everything. Nothing is able to be flashed. And Jiizuke, it's a bit of a fool's errand trying to defend for the 0-2 Aatrox in this point. He really probably should have just been pushing mid lane, but trying to make the right team play, protect his top laner a little bit, ends up just giving an extra 300 gold plus assist pool over to C9.
Well, the Drake is alive, and that is one thing that can maybe go EG's way, as they were running the bottom side of the map. Maybe they've got players to actually contest for it. Zeyzal taking some poke from Nisqy, walks back out to safety. Gonna drop the ward, gonna drop the scuttle. EG feeling at least comfortable down here. Top difference may or may not matter. Licorice is ulti-less, which means his TP is not all that important. Licorice, though, could burn both. Or, sorry, Kumo could burn both. Down 2 levels, though, is gonna be awkward if a fight does break out. Zven ultis a spot for info. Nope, Dragon's not started. They're shoving in bot lane first, and now EG's going to try for this Drake.
And I think it's actually pretty high risk if C9 is willing to take a fight, because looking at the items completed, there's just much more power on the side of C9 right now, so they're going to poke him, and if they find a pick, they're going to go.
Zeyzal's down to 1/3 health already. They hit the Drake a bit more. Then Bang says, you know what, you're right, I really can't. And it's a 4-on-3 right now. Jiizuke shoved in mid. It is a wave getting denied. That is some pressure on the turret that might come through for a bit more. Nice smite comes through. They pick that one up. And Licorice has roamed down. Looks for the knockup. They're going to get that one, but a nice shield comes up to keep him safe. 2 Drakes to Cloud9. Wave lost in mid. Everyone else staying alive.
Yeah, I mean, at least they got the ult out from Svenskeren, but there was no way they were going to pick up that Ocean Drake if C9 opted to contest. C9 does the right thing. Licorice even roamed down. It does buy a little bit of time for Kumo, and again, kind of like game 1, EG is in panic mode. They're just trying to figure out what is the one thing we can play around. It's likely if Bang completes his first item, Blade of the Ruin King, and if Jiizuke can start just applying side lane pressure, then it's about playing around Pantheon ults and Kalista engages, because otherwise, in the 5v5 teamfights right now, they are just completely overmatched.
Bang gets some alone time in the bot lane at least. Gets to catch a little bit of farm. Yeah, 3,500 gold lead at 16 minutes. We've talked about this, Jack. You brought it up first. C9 tends to have about 3,000 gold up 15. We're there yet again. We are at a median Cloud9 game, which is they are absolutely demolishing the number 2 seed in playoffs. And oh, hey, look, it's a top laner.
Run!
He's trying to recall. He doesn't get to. Kumo's dead yet again. There's exciting fights going on. They're landing crowd control. They're landing damage. He's dead again. We all knew it was coming.
This is bullying. They are bullying Kumo in this game over and over again, giving him no chance. As the Aatrox, he's not giving over too much gold after his 4th death, but he is denied the ability to farm, and C9 is just punishing it so much.
Absolutely taking over 4,500 gold lead. 2 turrets already gone. Mid and top have now been cracked. There is a 2v1 push down to the bottom side, but it's not nearly as fast as Zven knocking down top lane tier 2. 3-0 in turrets, but to be fair, Bang and Zeyzal are still pushing down there. They're getting at least some gold back. It's still look at the scoreboard, and it's really not very close. 5,000 is suddenly the gold difference. We were just talking about it being 3K. Nope, it's growing some more. There's Herald being picked up, and Blaber is ready to go and summon that somewhere else and knock down yet another turret.
Yeah, I mean, Potentially they go bot just because that's the most standing gold, but mid is also a pretty good usage, knowing that that outer mid lane, or rather middle mid lane turret is still alive. With Nocturne ult up though, and with double spell pen Zoe, Sorcerer's Shoes, Oblivion Orb done, doing basically true damage to the Pantheon or the Kalista or even the Aatrox, I think C9 might actually use Nocturne ult first, win a fight, and then drop Rift for just giant gains.
Yeah, they could easily crack an inhibitor with that one. They could knock down the rest of bot lane or the rest of mid lane. We'll see when it comes down. Right now we've got, another ulti top side. Ryze gonna try to get away. He does get two. Thankfully for Jiizuke, but there's a re-engage mid side. Vulcan gonna bring Zven to safety, but this is a 3v2 right there. And here comes the Ornn. Licorice is showing up, finds a knock-up onto just one. Bang's still in the chases to go back around. True shot rolling to the top, can't quite get Kumo, but here comes the re-engage. Nisqy is there. Low health bars on a Vulcan. One more auto would do him in. Zeyzal flashes for it and gives them the club. Bang's gonna drop here as well, and Zeyzal's still gonna die. Look like it's 3 down on the EG side. Still only 1 kill picked up. Cloud9 find yet another team fight win.
And that was an auto attack away from a 4-for-1, let alone a 3-for-1. That was just total demolition by C9. It looked like, actually, I could have sworn Pantheon was trying to use his ult up top to join Ryze, but then once Paranoia came in, either he just didn't cast it or it got canceled or something, because it doesn't look like it's on cooldown. But the bigger answer there is just Licorice had a massive Ornn ult in the jungle, and EG is so far behind, it took them 20 seconds to kill Tahm Kench. So while all that was happening, the rest of the team was dying, and now Nisqy, who is 4-0, has yet to die on Zoe in 4 playoff games on the champion, is running away with another one.
Absolutely running away with it. He's got the flat pen as well. He's going to assassinate some more backliners. Jiizuke has Merc Treads. It's not going to be enough for him in most cases. He's certainly going to try, though. The gold lead now, it's bigger. It's over 7,500 gold. In 5 minutes, it doubled. That is outlandish when Cloud9 already had absurd leads early on. And by the way, they're ready to go yet again. This time around, Realm Warp is on cooldown. Goodbye, Jiizuke. Nisqy is unstoppable.
Yeah, Jiizuke had flash, knew it wouldn't really matter in that situation, and that's the Nocturne pick, cutting down the one way EG has been able to win games, which is map pressure through what Jiizuke's done. With that exposed bot, Licorice, he's
1v4. What are the odds he takes this one home? He's going to try for triple knockup.
Not zero.
A true shot barrage. Licorice finally has an entourage and not going to be saved. Vulcan never gets the Devour down, and that's going to be the chase down. They find another stun into Zven. They might get the Ezreal as well. They got the pillar there. Kumo gets the slap, gets the double kill. Now Vulcan's low. Blaber is in, but he's got to be careful. Vulcan has about 12 HP left.
Whoa.
Blaber gets the stopwatch, and Nisqy's here for round number 2. Says hello to Bang, knocks him down for the double kill, and Nisqy is looking likely to chase this one. Can't find the sleep. Zeyzal's running for his life. Here comes Jiizuke, but is it to his death? He's been feared. It is. He opts into that one. 1 versus 3, and it's a 1 for 0. Cloud9 get 4-2 in that fight.
One by one, they keep on marching in. SEG kept thinking this was their window back in the game. They needed to win some type of desperation fight. It took them so long to kill Licorice. It did look for a second like maybe they'd be able to turn something around. But what actually happened is Kumo reset his bounty by getting kills. Then C9 was able to clean up the fight, and even though Nisqy is down 50 CS, that's because he has 8 kills, and he's just been going everywhere, taking over the game. He's out of control on Zoe this game. The Blade of the Ruined King pickup to solo out Bang at the end was absurd, and they pick up their 3rd Drake of the game.
10 kill lead, already up to 3 Drakes, almost as fast as you could do it. This is Cloud9 doing incredibly well. There's the Herald Charge we were mentioning before. It does break down the last turret of mid lane. Decent amount of value there. It's 5-0 in turrets. Even the 2-on-1 push that Bang and Zeyzal had couldn't break it in the bot lane. Here's Licorice, surviving 1v4.
Yeah. I mean, you asked the odds, like, what are the chances he takes him on? And we're like, well, they're not 0. This is, the Trundle ult's even used on him, so he's shredded, but he gets the triple knockup. And then Vulcan can't quite get into range. He actually Qs first. Maybe he thought he had a little bit more time before saving him, but then because they did step in so far, like Zven does get a little bit slowed by the pillar and nearly knocked down. And then it's taken so long for Zoe to walk up here, and he actually doesn't even land the first bubble. You're thinking maybe there's a chance. incredibly crucial stopwatch by Blaber because they need him here when the Ryze teleports and then Ryze ults in. Without this Terrify, which by the way keeps going after he's been devoured by Tahm Kench.
Yep.
Just in case you were curious, is what makes it so Jiizuke can't clean up.
Yeah, nice plays by Vulcan, right? Brought a lot of teammates to safety and kind of helped guarantee, right? He's put him right back out. Obviously, some of that is Blaber's doing as well. Says, okay, I'm right back in there. Still in tether range. Goodbye turret number 6. This game looks a lot like last one, where for the first 20 minutes, EG have 0 objectives. And also like last time, it is Blaber soloing a solo laner. This time around, though, he still wins. Loses Guardian Angel, though, and Svenskeren's here. This is likely to be a fight Sven wins. By the way, 4-level difference. True Shot Barrage comes in, Blaber puts in the fear, here's Bang, here's Spell Shield. Bang is there for a 750 gold shutdown. Nisqy is around, here's the rest of the squad. Bang is slowed, here's Zven, here's Vulcan, there's the kill on his Svenskeren. Goodbye, Bang, you can certainly try, but it's not gonna be enough. Nisqy, now legendary.
Yeah, we could maybe call this the Blaber Horizon if he gets 10 more CS. The 100 CS difference on the opponent jungler by 23 minutes into the game, but unable to CS with this long death timer now after he made that play happen. No smite, but it is a 4v2, so C9 going for Baron right now.
Well, you get 4 CS if you smite a Baron, so that gets you, that gets half the way there, what we're looking at. Looking at, 188. Okay, attempting for Kumo, finds the knockup. Here comes the ulti over the top. Misses it. Actually, that was a great pillar to actually make that more difficult, but you got to look back at the Baron. You got to make sure you land that smite. Nisqy's going to steal it away and help prevent Blaber from getting the Blaber Horizon, but end of the day, it's going to be a Baron cleanly picked up. You got a Drake in 2 minutes, and Cloud9 with absolute control.
Yeah, Nisqy, just total knowledge of everything he can do on this pick. Trying to work towards the death cap so he can have an Ornn upgradable item now that Licorice is eligible to give another friend some money. But yeah, this is a stomp. The first game took 35 minutes to complete. This one is likely going to be faster based on the current state of things. Knowing that Jiizuke is just desperately trying to create any type of wave pressure, but also knowing that there's a Tahm Kench and a Nocturne on the other side that are looking to shut him down.
All right, once again, going for the play down to the bottom side. Poor Ryze doing his best, quickly chopped up and spinning Blaber back out. Vulcan going to do the same as EG have better reinforcements. 4, now 5 strong. Here comes the re-engage for Cloud9. 1 for 0 already. Bang is gone. They're going to hope to get away. They can't get it. The road warp can't down in time. Bud Light Ace, absolute slaughter. Cloud now with a triple kill on Zven, diving right down to the mid lane. They've got impunity to push this base down. 25 seconds of the respawn timers. 23-6 in kills, only 25 minutes into the game. They have a single minion to shepherd into the Nexus turrets to break down the backdoor bonus, and here comes the siege. They've been speed running through the regular season, speed running through playoffs, and a quick 2-0 start, slaughtering evil geniuses.
What a performance by C9 there in game 2.
Yeah.
1 game away from sweeping their way all the way into the finals. EG, the number 2 seed, we're really seeing the gap between C9 and the next closest competitor. They're making EG look like amateurs in this game. They're completely destroying Kumo. Svenskeren has had nothing go his way early game, and then once he falls behind, Blaber is not letting him back in any way whatsoever. We're seeing what made C9 17-1 in the regular season, and what's made them now 22-1 cumulatively. They're just really good.
5-0 in the playoff run so far. Looking to make it a clean 6-0 to secure a trip to the final. We'll see you here very soon. On the other side, Dash, the analyst, return to break down that swift win from Cloud9. See you here after this.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light, it's hard seltzer. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. Questions? Call us now.
Hello and welcome back to C9 versus Evil Geniuses. The series score now stands at 2-0 in favor of Cloud9. And if today is your first day watching League of Legends, well, you're lucky because C9 is just giving an absolute master class in how to play this game from a team perspective. Gents, the second game even more dominant than the first.
Yeah, I mean, this is how C9 has been doing it all year long. Great skirmishing, great decision-making, team collapsing all over the place, fights everywhere, and you blink, next thing you know, you got a 5k gold lead at around 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Let's talk about that lead that was built so drastically early on for Cloud9 and then closing the game out a full five minutes faster than the previous.
Yeah, I mean, these games are going really quickly because they're punishing mistakes that people don't realize they're making. And in this case, EG is overstepping in places where usually they'd be able to get away with it. But since Cloud9 is so vigilant, they're noticing everything and punishing it. The most, important one was the first blood onto Pantheon around, 3 minutes. This is when the next jungle camp spawned. And they noticed him disappearing into fog, and they decided to chase him down and kill him, and that just broke the game open.
We'll get more into that top trio of players for Cloud9 and how they've worked together throughout this series so far. But Ezreal, I want to come to you on Champion Select from Game 2. Some of the differences that we saw, what Evil Geniuses was looking to do with the composition that they crafted.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they wanted to get aggressive early. They wanted to have playmaking. They have this Kalista to try to dominate early mid game. They have this Pantheon that's there to try to snowball some of these lanes and get them ahead. And then the Ryze is, I think, supposed to be kind of the late game insurance, right? We asked them, well, at least I asked them to kind of go back to what is comfort for them and playing that split push for Jiizuke later. That's what they wanted to get done. But the game was over so fast, they didn't even have a chance because they got ran over early. Pantheon's supposed to have this big advantage in the early game against Nocturne, but as Probably said, he's the one that's dying. And it's not even Nocturne that had to shut him down. His solo lanes just did that for him while he's happily farming on the other side of the map. So feels pretty good to jungle for Cloud9.
Yeah, one of those situations where you draft early, but if the early game goes wrong, it just makes it look like more of a lose-lose situation for you, and Cloud9 looks all the better for it. For those of you viewing on ESPN, you're about to head to a quick commercial break. We'll catch you here on the other side to prep you up for game number 3. But gents, as we continue to talk about this game number 2 specifically, I think we have to isolate the top lane this time around. We have the flip side of the matchup that we got from game 1, and Licorice, look at these statistics. This is a comparison of both of his games. So playing either side of that Aatrox versus Ornn matchup. Game 1, he was the Aatrox. Game 2, he was the Ornn. Identical KDA, similar stats across the board. Like, what is going on? This guy, it doesn't matter what champion you give him, he's going to give you the same game regardless.
Yeah, this is just insane to look at. It's obviously comically a mirror image with the two pictures of Licorice looking at each other, but then the stats are so similar. It's like, how can he dominate both sides so easily? And honestly, without too much jungler interference, like if anything, he's interfering with the enemy jungler more than that guy's interacting with him.
The Ornn one was even more impressive because the first one he was up in farm, but he picked up all those kills around the Riftfield. This one, he solo killed his lane opponent in kind of the disadvantageous matchup of being on the Ornn instead of the Aatrox in a 1v2. He's getting ganked and he just kills the guy and walks away. And it's like, well, what can you do?
Yeah, slivers of health there in a couple situations, but Licorice just showing absolute mastery over that champion. Probably, I want to talk about maybe solutions then in the top lane, because Licorice has shown comfortability on both sides of the matchup and in both playstyles. So what would be Evil Genius's best option to protect or safeguard Kumo in this matchup and maybe allow him to survive that early game and become effective in the team play, which is what we have seen from him when Evil Geniuses is playing at their best?
Yeah, I mean, taking out the draft, I think first step is they have to play better. They can't get outplayed so often by Cloud9, but for the top lane matchup specifically, I don't know, I still really like the Ornn. I think playing the Aatrox into Ornn, you're going to naturally want to punish that Ornn because you know it's a matchup that you can usually take advantage of. However, if you're not playing on form against one of the best top laners, you're going to get really punished for that, and you're going to fall even further behind. So getting that kind of Ornn, I think, is really, really important. And so we're
narrowing in on Ornn as a necessary pick maybe for Evil Geniuses within protecting him. That idea of protecting him, you talked about, one, we have to avoid getting outplayed mechanically at certain times. Strategically, though, Would you prefer to see Evil Geniuses go to protect his side of the map or create pressure elsewhere to draw attention away from his lane and leave him on an island?
No, I think Ornn and Set are the perfect island champions. And the reason I didn't say Set before is because he's just been banned in the first phase. So I would say get your hands on one of those champions that are big meatballs and can do well on low econ and normally have decent matchups. And be able to play towards the mid bot side. I know the problem with this, though, is if you have a top lane that is going to be losing automatically and you want to focus mid bot side, the other team can match your mid bot side pressure very easily because they know their top lane's winning and can bring them. So it's not like, let's just focus mid bot, leave Kumo on island, and it's fine. It's like they actually have to be able to play better than Cloud9. So this is not just a strategy or a draft problem. This is like the individual players have to be playing at a slightly higher level to be able to compete.
I'm going to jump in here and welcome back our ESPN viewers. In the midst of our discussion around the top lane, discussing the dominant performances from Licorice in games 1 and 2 and how Evil Geniuses might be able to protect Kumo moving forward. Another piece of that puzzle, though, I think is the jungler, and that's where I want to conclude our discussions heading into game 3. Svenskeren. This is a guy who has the makings of an MVP, has been an MVP in the past.
He's the reigning MVP.
He is the reigning MVP, I should say. Thank you very much, Ezreal. And so let's look for some maybe individual opportunities or ways that he can affect the map a little bit more. How can he shut down his replacement on Cloud9 in Blaber and actually give us a 4th game, Ezreal?
I mean, again, it's so damn hard because last game he got shut down, but he didn't even interact with the jungler yet, right? That is the problem, is that it's not just a one-on-one matchup. You know, you can draft all you want for the advantageous jungle matchup, but if your lanes lose, then you don't get to actually exert your will on the map, right? You don't get to then invade with reckless abandon looking for this 1v1 because the solo lanes are going to collapse. And that's why I think what Prawley is talking about really kind of hit the nail on the head, which is everyone just has to step up, because at the end of the day, you're playing a team that went 17-1 in the regular season. They're now 22-1 when you count in playoffs. When you're playing a team that is that good, there is no easy fix. You have to have everything. Great draft, great teamwork, and incredible individual performances, because otherwise you win one individual matchup, you're just going to lose elsewhere, right? So at the end of the day, they've just got to play the game of a lifetime almost and have a perfect draft to match with it if they want to be able to win 3 straight in a row.
Mark, let's conclude on what it would mean for Cloud9 to wrap up another 3-0 in a best of 5 to move with an undefeated postseason into the finals, only dropping 1 game over the course of the entire split.
To be honest, I think for C9 it means nothing, because this is the team that is the perennial 2nd place team. I think Jack, Reaper, these guys who have not won the LCS or haven't won since 2014, was it? 6 years ago. This is the only roster that doesn't have a championship, a North American championship holder on it. Like, this team does not care if they are the most dominant team to then flub it in the finals. That will mean nothing to them. They've been to so many finals where they've come up short. I think this is another stepping stone to them. You can see how serious they're taking it by how dominant they are, but I don't think that they do anything more than a quick pat on the back. All right, let's celebrate and get ready for next week if they win this one.
You heard it from Mark. It's trophy or nothing for the Cloud9 squad this time around here in the LCS 2020 LCS Spring Split. Best of 5. Cloud9 is 1 game away from locking up their final spot and shoving Evil Geniuses down to the losers bracket to see if they can climb their way back and challenge once again. For Evil Geniuses, they got to put 3 wins together in a row if they want to take that shot at the title. We're tossing things back to the casters to get us into game 3 of the series.
It's Jake from State Farm.
Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.